Hello everybody, it's Jodie here from Decoris Vintage Designs, and I'm with you today to give you a very magical jewel-toned makeover on this very cool little piece. Alright, so what I'm going to be using today is some cobalt, which is a really deep vibrant blue, and also some of the gilt, which is a turquoise, and these are going to make up my base layers. So what I have here is just one of those disposable palette thingies, a tear off palette, and I'm just going to pour a little bit of the cobalt out onto here. I always pour too much, always, but it's fine. And I'm also going to pour out a little bit of the gilt, kind of just next to it, like that. Okay. So then I'm kind of just going to dip them both in with my Scarlet Brush like that. And my Scarlet Brush is looking a little bit worse for wear, but it's fine, because it's just the base layer, so it's okay. Alright, so as I'm painting here, I'm not using my usual water mister, but my brush is slightly damp, and I'm kind of putting cobalt on the top and then the gulf on the bottom, and I'm just blending it out a tiny little bit, but I do want this look to be quite streaky. Whenever I feel like the two blues are starting to blend together a little bit too much, I go back in and I dip my brush back in and I separate them again by dipping half of my brush in the cobalt and half of my brush in the turquoise, which is the gulf. And I'm also painting over my pulls today because I want my pulls to look like part of the piece. And as always guys, everything I'm using today is listed below in case you get a little bit lost, and you can also support my channel by grabbing your supplies through the links below too. This is a really easy way to get a very streaky looking blend, you know, if you don't want something perfectly blended, and it will look very, very sky-like, maybe a little bit oceany as well. And all I would suggest, as usual, is just have fun with it, have a play and see what you come up with. Just remember, if you do want these very streaky kind of brush strokes, then don't over blend. You've kind of just got to stop yourself. Alright, so the base layer has now dried, and I have put the chest of drawers on its back, and in my mister bottle I have mixed a 50-50 solution of Mermaid Tail to water, and I'm just going to spray that all over the piece. It's going to look initially probably a little bit like graffiti, but don't panic because it's all going to be toned down. My water mister bottle broke, so I ended up having to put it in a window cleaning bottle, which was much better. So I just sprayed the Mermaid Tail oil all over, and then I got my water mister, which is full of clear water, and I also pooled all of that up and created some pools of Mermaid Tail, and I'm trying to get a watercolour tie-dye effect here. And then I came in with a hairdryer. You can use a heat gun too, that's also fine, and I just started to blow all that away, and it creates some really cool patterns. It's up to you. You could either just create the patterns that you want, let it pool up, let it dry on its own, or if you want it a little bit spindly, then just get your hairdryer on there and dry it all in one go. Once my Mermaid Tail was dry, and then repeated the same process with Peony, and this really does look like graffiti now, but again it's going to be toned down because I'm going to mist water on it, and then I'm going to use my hairdryer. What I will say guys as well is I learnt this look and this technique from Debbie Beard from Debbie's Design Diaries. She does some amazing tutorials, so I'm going to link her YouTube down below as well, because this is where I took the inspiration from. Alright, what I have here is Best Dang Wax in black and my Petite Brush, and I'm just going to put plenty of black wax over this now. This is not finished by any means, but I do want to come in with a little bit of gold, but I don't want the gold to have the dark wax over it. I want the gold to be really vibrant, and the beauty of the Best Dang Wax range is that it's water-based. All of the products I'm using today are water-based, so it means that I can paint over the top of them and layer over the top of them. So you can see here that it really does dramatically start to change the piece. If you guys are not a fan of dark wax the way I am, then you don't have to do this step, but I personally love black wax, and you know, it's always one of my go-to products, so I'm going to change the look of this. And then I just went in with a little bit of a sponge. It's just a soft sponge, and I dampened it, and then I just started to wipe some of it away just to kind of soften it all up. Okay, so what I have now is the Moonshine Metallics Gold Digger, and this is just a beautiful chalk paint gold metallic, and I'm just using a chip brush, nothing special here, and I'm just going to put a heavy layer of that over the top drawer, and then I am using my water mister and I'm going to let that drip down. I just want to point out as well that the chest of drawers is back up on its legs now and not its back, so gravity will take it over and we'll get some really, really good drips. Just keep working this in sections as well, so start off with the top drawer, let it drip a little bit, and then if you're thinking, okay, there's way too many drips here, then grab your brush and just brush some of those drips out, and then once you're happy, move on to the drawer below and repeat the process, and then on the third drawer, repeat the process again, and then you'll just find that you get this very cool kind of gold patinaed look. I want this piece to look very jewel toned, like maybe a jewel that's been in the ocean a long time, that maybe was, I don't know, it had like a cobalt kind of jewel, and then, I don't know, is there a jewel that is cobalt? Somebody tell me, because I don't actually know, but you kind of get my drift. And then, you know, maybe it had a gold layer over it, and it's been in the ocean, and it started to wash away, and that's kind of the idea that's in my head as I paint this. Alright, it's time to seal this piece, and I'm using the mini synthetic brush, and I'm actually using a clear coat today, and I'm using gloss. I have never used the gloss clear coat to seal a piece of furniture before, but what I thought was, if we're going for that true jewel toned look, then obviously a jewel would have a strong reflection of it, and so that's what I was kind of thinking here. I was like thinking, okay, if I use the gloss clear coat, then it's going to give a more jewel toned kind of shine. So yes, I was really, really excited by this because I love doing things I've never done before, and I really wanted to experiment and just see what happened. So the reason why I'm using the mini brush as well is because it's synthetic, which means fewer brush strokes, and also the clear coat is self-leveling, so it will dry nice and flat. Just make sure to take your time and not to go in there heavy-handed. And here's a finished look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was a really, really fun bohemian piece to create, and I think it has the perfect jewel toned kind of look to it. Let me know in the comments whether or not you like these kind of jewel toned bohemian colours, whether or not you would like to try something like this. And as always guys, have a great time painting and take care. Bye bye.